Hi friends, I'm Prairie Vintage. My name's Linda. I'm an energy intuitive reader here on YouTube. I use spirit and my intuition and the tarot to communicate energies to you guys, beautiful viewers. Today's reading is a pick a card reading where we're looking at the week ahead, the next 7 days approximately. Okay, although this is a timeless reading, so whenever you stumble across the reading, the message was meant to find you. We have our 3 cards, which I will reveal shortly, and we'll pull 3 charms for each of these options. If at any point you are pulled towards whichever card you're feeling drawn to, the timestamp will be in the description box and in the pinned comment below. Option 1, 2, 3. And let us reveal what these cards are. So for option 1, we have the Miracle 33. The frequency of miracles supports our belief in ourselves as a part of Source, and therefore our belief that anything is possible. I chuckle because I just finished doing the full moon readings and Miracle came out, which is interesting because we're still in that same full moon cycle for the energy. So it's just interesting that the same card would come out for option 1. Okay, so this is immediate energy, all right, in this week ahead. Option number 2, we got the throat chakra with number 5. The frequency of throat chakra, the blue flower of life, supports our self-expression and our sense of peace and balance. Beautiful. And option number 3, we have allowance with card number 9. The frequency of allowance invites us to be open to whatever comes our way without judgment, without opinion, without fear, and without resistance. When we allow, the universe becomes our partner in the wondrous dance of existence and expansion. Lots coming through with this allowance. So let us pick your charms. Okay, for option 1, for the Miracle, we got 2 charms coming out. We have the hummingbird and we have the moon with the star. Okay, so it's a crescent moon with the star and then the hummingbird. I'm not sure where I'm supposed to hold this for you guys to see. Let me see. Okay, right there apparently. Okay, so the hummingbird and the moon with the star. Okay, beautiful. And then the throat chakra. How interesting that the charms are coming out in 2s. We have a purse and what looks like a butter knife. A coin purse and a butter knife. Okay. And for option number 3, allowance. Oh my goodness, you guys got 3 charms. Okay, so we have the toxic or poison symbol with the skull and crossbones underneath. We have a fairy which looks like Tinkerbell sitting on the moon, and we have a serpent, a squiggled serpent snake. All right, so skull and crossbones, fairy sitting on a moon, and a snake. Okay, this will be an interesting 7 days. I'll let this energy sit here, or these cards sit here, and you guys sit with the energy for a bit. I do ask that you use your own intuition, what you will see, feel, or hear, to determine whether or not this is your pile, because this is a general reading. Not everything is going to be 100% to your story exact, but I will do my best to convey what the overall thrust of the message is here and the energy. And if you're pulled to multiple piles, it could certainly mean that there's multiple aspects of the week here that are wanting to come through to you as messages. All right, so I'll leave this running and I will see you guys at your pick. Hello, my beautiful pile 1. You guys picked the Miracle card, which is absolutely beautiful. If you guys were drawn to the full moon reading, regardless of when you click on this video, there might be a message in that reading, and it is, I believe, 2 readings previous to this one on my playlist in regards to, it'd be in the pick a card readings, and it is in regards to a miracle that is coming with the lunar cycle. So within that month period, there was supposed to be some sort of miracle being bestowed upon you here. So interesting, in the 7 days, we have this miracle card coming up. So I don't know if this will be something connected to the same miracle, although as we know, as spiritual beings, life is a miracle and everything is a miracle. So we'll see what this message is about. It says the frequency of miracles supports our belief in ourselves and as a part of source, and therefore our belief that anything is possible. So we do have the star, which talks about our wishes coming true. You know, when we wish upon a star, it's certainly our wishes, hopes, and our long-term vision of what we want for ourselves, and that's sitting in with the moon. So certainly there could be some fear around whether this wish or this hope, this desire was something that we could ever attain, or maybe we lost hope at one point, and so we feared that this would be something that would never manifest, you know, that it'd be some sort of miracle if we were able to take something off the ground, or if something was ever going to come into fruition, or if something was ever going to manifest for us. So we do see the crescent moon, and I'm not sure at what point the moon cycle is where we have a moon like this, if this is waning or waxing in any way, but I do know that the moon cycle could certainly be very important here with this miracle. Okay, so what I'm getting that potentially this miracle will manifest in a way that might begin within the next 7 days. Okay, like the beginning of this miracle. It might not fully come out as the full manifestation, but because we're not seeing the full moon at its capacity, we're seeing like part of the moon coming out here. So to me, it's symbolizing that this miracle or this manifestation, this wish, is something that reveals itself in a way that you could work with. And my throat chakra is getting all screwy here, which does connect to pile 2. So if you're pulled to 2, it could certainly be a connection there. But okay, so we'll keep that in mind. And we have the hummingbird here. Okay, so the hummingbird is, it's an enthusiastic energy here, where the reserves of the hummingbird is so like the hummingbird has so much energy, you know, it has so much energy, and it's able to flutter around, and it's able to find its nectar and return to certain places to get its nectar repetitively from the same sort of source. I'm feeling like there's something coming through of the hummingbird's song. Like the hummingbird's song is coming through here. So it might be something very specific and unique to you, like to do something your way, or to how you're going to navigate in this miracle here is going to be kind of seamless, you know. It might also make you very, very, very excited here, okay? Because hummingbird has a lot of energy coming through. So I don't know if you're resonating with some of that. We're going to pull the oracle cards and then clarify with some tarot. I will be pulling the oracle cards here. Generally, I pull them off video, but I do want to pull them here and see what we see. So we're going to ask Spirit here for a clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of beautiful pile 1, the week ahead, the next 7 days. What energy is coming in for beautiful pile 1? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good right here, right now for pile 1, Spirit. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message. And thank you so much, pile 1, for allowing me to tap into your energy and the energy around you at this time. I am truly blessed. So we have silence. Interesting, because I was getting the hummingbird song, or the way of the hummingbird. And now we have silence. Okay, so your way might certainly be silence. Let's see. We have the guide. Okay. Now remember to use your intuition. Okay, what you will see, feel, or hear to determine whether or not this is something that resonates for you. We have practice. We have soul. Amazing. All right, we'll take the one that's flipped. We have the unknown. Okay, and one more here, Spirit. We have the rage. Interesting. And bottom of the deck, we have breathe. With, it looks like a pair of lungs, but it's made out of plants. Okay. So I'd like to let you guys know that the next 7 days is just sitting energetically here. So it could certainly be within that window of time. Could be, 10 days, wherever you guys are sitting on the timeline. So it's not a hard, fast rule here, but we're using that kind of as approximation, okay? So let me sit with this energy here and see what I pick up, and then we will get into your reading. Okay. This is very interesting, pile one. So I feel as though there is a desire that you've been either praying for, hoping for, or wishing for once upon a time. Okay, but I feel as though this is something that you might have released at some point in time here, okay? Like you kind of gave it up to the universe at some point, because I feel as though either this opportunity went quiet or fell out of your life, or you just came into an acceptance here of, for whatever reason, the thing didn't pan out, it didn't work out for you. And so I think you sat with this, needing to sit with this energy here in order for you to absorb and sit with an understanding here that you could make sense of by either forgiving the universe, forgiving yourself, understanding why things did work, did not work. There was a period of getting centered with what had happened at some point, and I think this has already happened. So, of course, if you're where you are in the timeline, you might be going through this right now. It's like you're sitting here, you're allowing things to absorb, and I feel like you're finding peace. Okay, and of course, how the universe works. When we find that inner peace, when we find that inner standing of what has happened, we're now sort of ready to receive from the universe. So I feel like you've had to get very still. You've had to, reconcile here an understanding within self. But I feel like whatever this was spoke to your soul at some point. So I feel like there is a loneliness here of having to surrender, but a peacefulness of having to surrender. So I feel like you've had to do a lot of sitting in peace about what has happened, because I could imagine this was something quite disappointing, potentially, or something that you really had your mind set on here, okay? So you found some sort of peace, you were able to reconcile with the universe, and see how all these waves are sitting here behind this soul. I don't know if you guys can see behind this soul card. Okay, these are the same waves that are out here where it says unknown. So I think you feel like either you got abandoned by the universe in some way, although you are kind of grounded here. So maybe you trusted, but maybe not. Maybe you trusted the universe that you weren't supposed to know, or that you were thrown into an unknown situation of what was going to manifest, okay? And you had to ground yourself and find peace within the unknown, which is very difficult to do, but it's a part of our spirituality. It's like, can we sit in the hands of the universe unfolding in front of us without knowing, without controlling, without any sort of doer identity that we have to do something rather than allowing the universe to unfold for us? So I feel like there In the unknown you sit, in the unknown you found peace, in the unknown you're still sort of sitting here, okay? Like not knowing what's going to come. And I do feel there is a sense of excitement here, because I do feel for those of you guys intuitive enough to know something is out there in this unknown, that anything is kind of possible here. Okay, and I feel like Spirit is showing that Spirit senses this, that you're now able to be guided to where you're supposed to go. So previous to this energy that you were in, you might have been resistant or hanging on to outcome or tunnel vision about what you had wanted, or very stuck on something that you had to sort of come to terms with on your own sort of pace, okay? Because it wouldn't matter if the universe was telling us release or let go or do this or do that, until we can fully reconcile within our soul, within our heart, within our being, that that's something that we experience, right? So I think you finally made peace with something here. And now the universe senses this sort of openness about you to allow the universe to guide you. Okay, so divine guidance is certainly at play here. And I feel like everything that was kind of getting in the way of you getting towards what the universe wants to bestow to you, the energy you were sitting in was keeping you kind of in a 7 of Cups is kind of what I'm seeing here. Like there was too many things that could have unfolded. There were different options that could have kind of resulted, or you were kind of feeling like you were maybe going back and forth or not quite sure where you were going, and there was a lot of confusion. Okay, but I feel like you always wanted forward progress, or you always had sort of an idea of an outcome that you were sort of trying to attain. But I feel like the surrender here has left behind all of the confusion. So I feel like there's only really one way here, and the way is the way of the universe. The way is the way you're being divinely guided, which is still leaving you here in an unknown, because you're on a need to know sort of basis here. Okay, so Spirit is showing with this practice here, tying back to your initial wish. I do feel as though Spirit is showing a much needed state of lesson of learning how to, how to accept the ways of the universe, how to accept surrender to the universe, how to accept living in the unknown, how to accept being at peace, with understandings here that maybe we're not quite sure why it's happened the way it happened. But I feel like there was many attempts here to attain your miracle, or your desire, not your miracle, but your wish. Okay, whatever it was that you had desired or were praying for. And I feel like all these attempts didn't really amount to much. So what Spirit's showing is that all of these attempts did amount to much. It amounted to this miracle happening, but you were supposed to learn all of the different sort of stages within this experience. Okay, this is all practice for you to gain better understanding about self, to gain better understanding about the ways of the universe, to gain better understanding of how to surrender to the universe, to go with the flow, to sit in a silence here. And this is accepting things as they are. Silence is consciousness, without everything else getting in the way. Consciousness is silence. Okay, I just heard that. So if we are sitting in full awareness and consciousness without our demands of ego getting in the way, or our preconceived notions, expectations, how we perceive things should unfold, I feel like all of that needed to be removed in order for us to just be still and silent for the universe to kind of grab the wheel. So what I feel is happening is, this is happening suddenly, okay? Now, I'm not looking at rage so much as something is happening here, and it's happening very, very, well, suddenly, but abruptly here. Like it's just going to fall in your lap, okay? Like very, very abruptly. But I feel like because we're seeing all this fire, I feel like what Spirit's showing is, I don't think because you're expecting this, it's kind of like another practice lesson here. Because now, although you might be attaining something here that you we're working towards wanting, this opportunity falls on your lap and there's a need to act quick. So another lesson here, right? Like, we have to do something. And if we don't get that, whatever, that hot lava, that ember, whatever it is that just landed in our lap, like, we have to do something with this opportunity or act. And I think the universe is preparing you for this so that you are acting in your highest good. You're not reactive. You're acting out of a place of, what have you learned? What have you learned during this journey? Are you still able to find the silence and find the stillness through this experience in order to do what you need to do from a very conscious place when this opportunity lands on you that seems urgent, that you need to act quickly? Like, will the subconscious kick in? That fear, fight or flight energy, does that kick in? And that, we know, is stemmed from ego, which is there for a reason. Back when we had to survive, we would have to take action right away, or else our lives could be in danger here. So I feel in this situation, something's happening here and we could fall back. Okay, we could fall back, or we could be very consciously aware and we can integrate all of the lessons that we have learned, and now we have to do something with this, which I feel is a miracle. Okay, it is a miracle here because it's falling in your lap, although I think is probably quite unexpected, and the lessons still haven't stopped. Okay, because there's still a lesson here, and how are we going to receive this, or how are we going to work with whatever's coming? Because I think what comes here might be in a form that you're not expecting. Okay, it's a form you're not expecting, and you're needing to expecting to act with this. Okay, so under that we have desire. Yeah, you're there's definitely something here that your soul desired and wished for. And the fact that we're seeing this snake here, now you could again be resonating with any of the other pile. We had the snake coming out, and I believe that was for pile 3. Okay, so maybe there's messages in there, but the snake represents like healing, because we've gone through an experience. Okay, because the snake's already kind of lived its life for some period of time before it sheds its skin, because it needs to heal and it's reborn with new skin. But it's the wisdom that it learned along the way here, the experience that it had along the way here, that gives it its wisdom. So I feel like there is a lesson here that you've already learned, that the universe doesn't want you to throw out the window when we're needing to react here, okay, to this miracle coming in as a desire that you had wished for it. Because I feel like you had to do a lot of healing, and the healing took place in you sort of sitting in silence, sort of surrendering, like, this is very dark over here, and here we have the bright colors, because I feel like you had to mourn something, sit in darkness, sadness, to where it became something you could accept as an unknown, because life sometimes is sad. Sometimes life is in the dark. We don't see where we're going, and it could be scary, but it could also be us accepting this as a practice of life, as an experience. How do I sit in the darkness, not knowing? How do I sit still when maybe I want to move forward, but rather than doing a bunch of things here that the universe might have felt was not the best thing for our soul, the universe now has the opening to guide us straight to what we're supposed to be experiencing here. Okay, so there's something you're having to experience here, and it is an absolute blessing. And I do feel as though you're quite enthusiastic. So this is coming through as, because the hummingbird, the way it moves, it's like it can move up and down very like quickly and from side to side. It's kind of like a very quick energy that takes no time at all to kind of guide itself. So when this, this lava or this thing, this opportunity falls in your lap, I think because of your experience, you're able to gracefully sort of move with this, like the dance of life here. I think you're able to work with whatever this is in a very graceful way. that comes kind of naturally because of the experience you've already had. You know, and if you were any other animal other than the hummingbird, you could certainly get hit with this lava. Yeah, you could get hit with the lava. So you're capable of sort of adapting to what's going on here, because there's multiple things going on here, I feel, all at once, you know. So the ability to kind of weave yourself in and out of what's falling around you gracefully, but I feel there's an excitement here, but there's also a need to be aware of the experience, the healing, and what you've learned, so that you're not just reactive. You know, if this hummingbird is just reactive, it could fly straight into another piece of lava. I hope that's making sense to you guys. It's very, very much, I don't know, coming in way of analogy rather than what's actually happening. But if you guys are here, then certainly this is something that you already connect with in regards to a desire here, and a wish that you've been sort of having to find some sort of peacefulness about surrendering that to the universe. So I'm going to get some tarot just to get a little bit more in regards to this reading for Pile 1 Spirit. Clear and concise message for beautiful Pile 1. The next 7 days, can we please get a little bit more information regarding this miracle? Guidance for Pile 1, clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of Pile 1, right here, right now. What do they need to know about this miracle that is coming in for them in the next 7 days? We have the 5 of Wands. Look at that wolf. Okay. I'm being called to read them all in the upright. We have the 7 of Pentacles. Spirit, can we please get some more in regards to this miracle? We have the 2 of Wands. Okay. We have the 7 of Wands. We have the 8 of Wands. 7 of Wands, 8 of Wands. And we have the Empress. Beautiful. So we have Taurus energy. And the bottom of the deck, we have the Hermit. Excuse me. So Virgo energy. Okay, so Earth energy here. Okay, so what I am seeing here is with the Hermit, I'm seeing this soul card here, okay? Because the Hermit is all about soul introspection, where we have to go inwards. You know, the journey of the Hermit is quite lonely here, because we really have to dive in the depths of our own soul to find answers for ourselves that we're comfortable with sitting with. And sometimes our mind can't make sense of the universe, but there's an acceptance that comes when we make peace with the Hermit's experience, you know, and when we can sit with ourselves and know that we are okay because we're true to our own sort of inner desire, our own sort of inner peace, I feel here, you know, regardless of what's going on the outside, because the Hermit is all about what's going on the inside. So we might have been very outwardly sort of focused on something manifesting in the outer world, you know, coming true in the outer world, but I feel you've really had to sit with this for quite some time. And that's why I was telling you, like, I think you've already experienced this sort of coming to terms or peace with something here in the darkness, you know, and it might have been a dark period of time for you. And here we see the ascension, right? So as we continue to sit in an energy where we make peace and get closer about our own inner truths, we then become more comfortable with who we are and what has happened. And I feel like this allows us to ascend as an energy to our greatest sort of being, okay? We're no longer sort of fixated on external things, or we're sort of getting more at peace with how we are with ourselves. But I feel like it's guiding you to this green sort of light energy, and green ray is all about heart chakra. Okay, so heart chakra is love. It speaks the language of the soul. So that's why the heart doesn't lie. You know, it doesn't have any mind involved when it comes from the heart. And when it doesn't have any mind, that means it's not influenced by conditioning or experiences that we've had, you know, where we put that mind filter over top of whatever this energy is. It comes straight from the soul to the heart. So we could feel it. It's authentic. It's true. And I think we've had to sit with our heart energy here with something that we couldn't put a filter over top of, you know, we couldn't make a story here. And when I say story, it's like we can't intervene with the mind and sit in suffering or run stories in our mind that we want, or that we thought, or that we could impact the situation because it causes more suffering. What we do is we allow the universe to sort of guide us by releasing everything except for the language of the soul. Okay, like knowing that there's some sort of love here. Okay, so I do feel like there was a lot of conflict in going through that. Okay, because Five of Wands is conflict, and this could be where we're having conflict with other people, or just an inner conflict. But I do feel there's other people involved in this, or another person specifically, where, yeah, there could have been arguments, disagreements. And then I feel like this conflict maybe sat in you having to fight for what you believe in here with the Seven of Wands. This is us having to stand our ground, you know, and our convictions here. This depiction, we have all these sharks. So like I said, like the moon can talk of fear. So this looks pretty scary to me, like having to navigate through the sea, representing the emotions here, but all these sharks. So it's like emotions were certainly involved, especially when we're talking our heart, okay? Because I mean, the heart is just heart energy. It's just love. And sometimes when we have heavily charged emotions, it could distort what that love means or where it's navigating us. So I feel like we had to navigate through something kind of scary here with all the sharks in order to stand our ground, in order to stand up for what we believed in here, in order to foster something or to grow something. Because we have the botanicals, I guess, or the foliage here, this little plant, you know, with the, I don't know, it's those gardening sort of analogies coming through here. But this little plant, you know, has a chance at life here. It needs to be planted, but it still hasn't produced anything here with the Seven of Pentacles. You know, we still have to sort of put the garden together, if you will, in order for it to become the full blossoming garden. But it's up to us how we plant this garden. So I feel like there is something that's been created in the energy here, you know, that might have been offline for a bit here with the silence and the soul because of conflict and because of all the, I don't know, I do feel there might have been a confrontation here is what I feel. So you might have had to confront something. And I don't know how long this energy's been sitting here because it's more my passing sort of energy. But right here in the present, I see fast energy. And the Eight of Wands is communication. It's movement. It's having a breakthrough. It's allowing things to flow. But see how this is all kind of hazy here. And it's right over top of the unknown. I think what's happening here is it happens kind of quick. Some situation, circumstance happens very quick here that you can't quite make out to the details because I don't think you have, and it's kind of moving like this hummingbird, you know, like it's not very, what's the word? You know what I mean? Very, why can't I think of the word? Precise or like outlined. I don't know. There's a word for that. It's not coming to me. So the hummingbird's like, you know, as it's moving, sometimes we don't even freaking see its wings at all. It's just kind of this energy. And I'm getting the same energy from the hummingbird as I'm getting from this card, which could be scary, right? Because we have no control. We're not really seeing, things are happening. And if we're somebody who likes control, or we like to know where we're being throttled into, this could seem very, very scary. But again, we're trusting the universe to say, if I'm in this energy, just as the hummingbird, it's natural to move this way. It doesn't necessarily mean it's scary. Okay, because I'm getting two real different types of energies from this to this. So I think it goes from, you know, this little budling, us having the control in our hands to replant this, and something hasn't really manifested, and we're looking at this as, you know, I still got to kind of build my garden, and then all of a sudden we're here in this sort of flurry of energy, which is kind of giving me this. It's like if a volcano erupts, it's like you don't even have time to think. There's things kind of flying everywhere at you, and, you know, you can't really have time to think of where every single piece is going to land, or how, you know, what every single thing here is looking like. So I do feel a rush of energy here, okay? And so I feel like this is going to leave you with a choice. It's going to leave you with a choice. And I think what Spirit is saying is you're going to have to get very centered and very focused on what you want, because there was a reason why you had to sit with yourself, get centered, experience what you experience, for when the flurry comes, when you're needing to engage in a way that's based on what you've experienced already, because you've had enough practice. You're being set up to make a choice here, a right decision for yourself, because you can still get centered, because you can still choose what's right. You know, like, yes, you're being guided here, but you still have to choose, and with your free will, what you want here. You don't want to make a mistake here that you've already experienced something in the past here. This was all happening in order for you to get very clear and concise and be able to handle a situation that might be looking like this, you know, and it's kind of scary. But now we know how to fly like this hummingbird, you know. And I was getting like the hummingbird's song. So I feel like it's the way of the hummingbird. Like, it moves different than a lot of other birds here because of how it is. So I feel like because of how you are now, based on an experience, you're needing to really sort of understand this decision, because I feel like there isn't a whole lot of time, is what I feel. Okay, and I don't want to cause pressure to you, but I do feel like you have to choose quickly. Like, you can't let that lava sit on you, you know. You have to run away, or not literally run away, but you have to like be like the hummingbird and navigate through the lava that's falling all over the place. You can't sit still. That's what I'm saying. You have to dance with the natural flow of the universe, you know, the natural flow of the universe. The natural flow of the universe is coming out here, and you've had practice to do this. So now we have to get very clear about the decision that we're making here. And I feel with this Empress is all about abundance. This is the miracle, okay? Because the Empress is unconditional love. It's being able to birth something that is abundant. So when we can make the right decisions, we're able to offer abundance to the universe and receive abundance to the universe here. So this is divine feminine energy, which is all about receptivity. So we have to definitely be receptive to our environment in order to know how to navigate. We can't close our eyes and just do things, because it's going to have to be at the mercy of an uncontrolled thing, right? So we have to make sure that we're in receptive energy. But at the same time, with the elephants, I'm getting something from the past that you wished upon here, because an elephant has a good memory, a memory of something of the past, because we had to learn an experience that we can't forget about. We can't forget what it was that we learned. You know, because sometimes when something happens like this, everything we learned kind of goes out the window because we're back on trigger mode or subconscious mode, and we're just no longer, you know, flying like the hummingbird. We're now back to whatever we were previous to this. And I don't think you will. Like, I think you're now Empress energy, which is the capability to be receptive, the capability to be abundant, the capability to produce more because we're balanced. You know, so even when a situation happens that's out of our control, that seems like we can't gain our bearings, it's moving fast, we have to be reactive. I think you're capable of managing this because you've experienced something that's taught you how to navigate, but you have to remember this. You have to remember this because you will be put in this situation in the next 7 days here that you have to make a decision here, okay? And I feel like the decision has to be very centered, clear, and proper. It can't be reactionary. It can't be maybe repeating a same sort of way of reacting, you know, because this might be a similar situation happening again that the universe is putting in front of you because you've had plenty of practice here to see how is pile number one going to react to this. Are they going to actually make a different decision this time? One that is more in line with what they've been divinely guided to choose here. You know, this crossroads has a bunch of sort of directions, and this is opposite with the Two of Wands. There's only two ways to go. So we could have come from having a whole bunch of ideas, not quite sure, completely, you know, sitting here with so many ways to go, and the universe has guided us straight to this experience where we have two options, and we have to be wise about which way we're going to go now, because instead of all these, we now only have two sort of options, two reactions, two decisions. And I think only one of them is the one that sort of speaks to you. Only one of them brings in this miracle. Only one of them is from a place of love. Only one of them is going to allow you to get the blessing you want here. I feel the other one is going to keep you, you know, in a state here that you've already experienced, that you don't need to experience. To stay calm with this breathe. Okay, stay calm, breathe, even though things might not be very clear and you're not sure where it's guiding you. Just remember the lessons that were learned. Okay, because this is a huge period of transformation for you, to not react or do something in maybe a same way here with this butterfly is all about how we transform ourselves, you know. So it's a major transformation, but we have to remember the lessons. So this is what I have for you guys, pile one. I hope this resonated for you guys. I love you very much. If you are drawn to another pile, I will see you guys there. Bye. Hello, my beautiful pile two. You guys picked the throat chakra with card number 5, and it says the frequency of the throat chakra, the blue flower of life, supports our self-expression and our sense of peace and balance. This is all about communication, incoming or outgoing, right? How well we're able to express ourselves authentically and listen to others in a way that we can take the information authentically, that it doesn't come through a filter that might be egoic in our own sort of filter of our experience. So this is in and out energy that we're able to take, okay, as pure as we can and release as pure as we can without the distortion. We are looking at the next 7 days, and because energy isn't fixed, this could be certainly, I don't know, like 10 days out. It could be, you know, 5 days, but give or take. I don't know where you guys are sitting on the timeline. And this reading is timeless. So whenever you watch the video, this message was meant to find you approximately 7 days. Okay. So this is what we're looking at here. And we'll get into your oracle cards, but I'm just kind of giving you what I feel this energy is about. So we have the purse here and the butter knife. Like, this is very interesting, and a couple things coming through, like A butter knife, I mean, this is what it looks like to me. It could certainly be some sort of, I don't know, like samurai sword, but that's not what I'm getting. A butter knife has a purpose, but you know, when we're little and we get scared of knives because our parents don't want us playing with knives, right? So for a period of time there, we're kind of fearful of knives. And we get to a certain point where we know that the butter knife is not going to damage us or hurt us in any way. But we create a big story around the knife because of what we're conditioned to believe in. And, you know, children, obviously, to keep them away from knives, they just say, don't play with the knives. You can't really get hurt, you know, really from a butter knife or as cut, right? As you can from, let's say, like a sharp knife that you use for cutting bread or meat or whatever. So I feel like there's something here that isn't maybe necessarily going to hurt as we might think. It might cause damage either to someone else or to ourselves. Okay, so it seems like it's something that could be very scary or cause fear because of the pain it might inflict that we believe. And I'm also getting, I mean, there is a purpose of this butter knife, that it does have a purpose. It needs to spread, you know, the jam or the butter or the whatever, the mustard. So I feel like there's a purpose here that's needing to play out in a way that it's supposed to play out, but we could be perceiving something here as maybe it could create pain, you know, for us, or could be dangerous for us in regards to communicating something, or we might be hearing something that is an illusion of what it actually is trying to tell us. And so we have this purse, could be a coin pouch or just a purse. The purse to me is kind of coming out as the form of ego. When I see things that we used to, you know, like that are egoic in a way, like someone who has like a lot of purses, you know, might be really concerned with appearances and keeping up with designer and all that stuff, which is nothing wrong with that. I used to have, I still do, a ton of purses, so I make no judgment here. I'm just saying, like, symbolically, the purse here is coming through as ego, perception. Okay, and so I feel like on this channel I do talk a lot about ego here because it's based on our own experience that tends to distort how we act and engage with other people. And it has nothing to do with that exact situation in that present moment. More so that our energy is charged behind past experiences, past conditioning or beliefs that now impact how we engage in this situation. So if we've experienced something in the past that's been painful, and now we're put in a situation where we perceive it as something that could cause pain to us, even if it is just a situation where it's a butter knife, but we're projecting something that has happened, you know, we could certainly say something we don't mean or react in a way that might be overguarded or defensive. Okay, but also because the purse has an opening and inside there, I feel like there's contents in here that are very personal. You know, you don't want anyone going through your purse. You know, you have your private stuff there. You have stuff there that could be used against you if someone takes your credit card, and then you got to do damage control. Like, your private things are inside this purse, you know, and it's kind of like this throat chakra. It's like your personal self, your authentic self is in here, and you don't want it to be used against you, you know. So it's like, it's on a need to know basis. Like, you'll pull out this credit card when it's time to pay, but you don't want just anyone digging through your purse here, right? So I feel like there's a mixture here of some sort of distorted lens you're in, and this lens is creating something here that you might feel you're having to do in order to guard self or protect something that is certainly needing protection, but maybe not in this situation so much, that it's not really open to threat, you know? So this is kind of what I'm picking up here. I know that's kind of a little bit cryptic. I hope that made sense. Let's pull your oracles and we'll see. Okay, so Spirit, for pile number 2, what is this energy about? Coming in for the next 7 days, the week ahead, for pile 2, clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message. And thank you so, so much, pile number 2, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. I am truly blessed. Thank you so, so much. All right. Yeah, it's like we don't want to be exposed here, right? So how can we respond? How can we be our authentic self to communicate some sort of truth? How can we receive some sort of communication coming to us? You know, is it authentic? Here we have heal. Okay, Spirit, clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 2. All right, so heal, earth, looks more like a beach ball to me, mind, practice. This came out for pile number 1, if you recalled. Seek, birth. I did see a pomegranate in pile 1 as well. One of the cards, I did not mention it, but that's coming through again. And we have support. Okay. And the bottom of the deck, we have escape. Okay, so let me sit here with this energy. Under escape, we have blockage, which I'll just turn around, blockage. Okay, so a lot of the same sort of thing, analogy, it kind of comes through here. Not the same analogy, but the same energy that analogy was giving is coming through here. Like, mind to me is about our own lens. Okay, mind is our own lens, because we all have a pair of glasses that we wear and how we see the world, you know, and you could be wearing yellow glasses and I could be wearing red glasses, and we could be arguing about the color that we see the sky. And no matter how much I try to convince you, you know, you're going to see it through your yellow lens and I'm going to see it through my red lens, and neither you nor I are right, because we're both wearing glasses. And that the universe, the sky is blue, or whatever the universal truth is, neither of us are seeing the universal truth, because we're coming from a place of mind, and the mind has been beat up through conditioning and experiences that we store and house within us, that's energetically charged based on our own, you know, poor experiences or good experiences, or whatever we want to perceive something. And that's why when you experience something and I experience something, it might be something beneficial to you, which could be very traumatic to me, because maybe with a yellow lens, it's something that causes pleasure. And with a red lens, or whatever color I said I was wearing, it's something that causes pain. So it wouldn't matter if you told me it's pleasurable. I would always experience pain in my lens. So you have a lens right now. Okay, and I feel like we're needing to identify the lens and do this healing, because the only way that we can really heal ourselves from whatever has happened here is for us to embrace that our lens is not the universal truth. It is an experience of something. So I think this takes time, okay, with this practice here. And I feel like maybe we've been in multiple situations here where we've attempted something that resulted in a same sort of outcome. And so now our understanding of something becomes what is the universal truth, our absolute truth. Our absolute truth. We're seeing it as the universal truth because we've experienced it, and so it becomes a reality, and we could experience it 50,000 times because we're still wearing the yellow lens, but only until we take the yellow lens off do we know that there is a universal truth outside of our absolute truth. Okay, so I'm going to say that again. As long as we have our mind and our experience attached to something, we can experience the same thing, maybe with different people, similar situations, multiple times, and keep getting the same results. And then we start to believe that that's the truth of something because we've experienced it. You know, but the only truth here is the universal truth that you have a distorted lens of sorts here through some sort of pain that's happened. And so I feel like you're concluding an idea or an understanding here as some sort of big truth. And Spirit is saying, seek what this universal truth is here, outside of what you've experienced, outside of the distorted lens. Do not get in your mind here, okay? Allow the universe to kind of guide you outside of your usual, okay? Remember that what you always thought was a danger and a sharp knife, the universal truth is that it was a butter knife and it was never going to hurt you, okay? And that not everyone's out to go inside your purse, and it's good to be discerning, but we can't live life guarding our purse. So there's like the pouch of experience that we had here. Okay, like every experience we had, we kind of store away in our memory banks and in our experience. But I feel like what Spirit is saying is there's a need for you to open yourself up outside of whatever it is that you've experienced here, to be reborn from a place that doesn't carry the distorted lens or the judgment or the experience. Okay, and that's difficult because we know if we've learned our lesson, this is funny because this is almost like opposite of what was coming through for pile 1. If we've learned the lessons, the universe wants us to remember these lessons. But this to me is saying, just because you've experienced something, what you have experienced that has become your truth, has instilled some sort of distorted lens in which you're feeling fear could come of this. So you're needing to be reborn as this seeker of truth. Okay, and so I feel like with the support, your next 7 days, I feel like there is a situation here that allows and fosters your exploration of this growth. It isn't out to steal your purse. It isn't out to cut you. Okay, like I feel like either there's people around you that allow this sort of growth to happen, and because I feel like this is happening for you, and maybe you just kind of stumble upon understanding this. And so for whatever reason, I'm feeling this wheel of fortune. And so I'm feeling like this isn't necessarily guidance, me telling you have to go seeking. I think you fall in line with destiny that allows an opportunity for you to explore this thing that I think in any other situation or circumstance, you would have chalked it up to being a sharp knife because that was been your experience. So I feel like this journey that you're taking isn't one that I'm saying, hey, you have to take. I'm saying in the next 7 days, this is a journey that's coming in that you are going to take. I think destiny takes you down this journey of having to see something here that isn't from the distorted mind experience lens, that I think gives you hope with this birth. It allows you to see things maybe differently than you have been previously seeing it, because I feel like maybe there was an unhealed place, an unhealed, distorted experience that's true, that's happened. But again, what's true? What is true? If you had a lens on, you're experiencing that experience coming from your filtration. Again, back to that ego place. So there was something needing healing, and I feel like what's happening in the 7 days is you're healing this sort of trauma. You're taking the lens off. And this is great because I think if you wear the lens and continue to wear the lens, I think it shuts you out from experiencing something great here, because I think you identify something that becomes more healed as you allow the universe to guide you towards this new understanding, because it's a safe place. You know, it's like you finally are able to leave your purse at the table you're sitting at there, and there's no doubt in your mind that the company you're with isn't going to steal your credit card or take your wallet or go through your things, you know, like, or your date isn't going to steal your phone and go through your phone or whatever the thing is here, okay? And I'm not saying you're super suspicious. I just feel like it hasn't been a safe environment. And so we wear that lens of our experience, you know, but that's not a universal truth, that not everything and everyone needs to be regarded in that sort of lens. Okay, so I feel like there's a supportive people here, or an environment here that is very fostering of your healing. Okay, and so I feel like there's a couple of things coming through with this escape. Like, one, I don't know if because of this sort of experience in the past that's left you needing healing, or that's been distorted, that has stifled your authenticity of being able to speak up about something. So we tend to escape back to reliving in our mind about the trauma, or back into our mind about what could potentially happen, or we tend to escape, or we're not present. Okay, we're not present. And so I feel like Spirit is showing like there's a need to get very present and aware of like what's going on here, to engage in your environment with the people and the situation you're in here, because this is where the most amount of healing is going to come from. You know, when we finally take the lens off and we look around, we can actually see the truth with clear eyes, with the universal eye, rather than the distorted ego eye, you know? Yeah, and clear, like you're clearing a blockage here. And look, this is so neat. This is it looks like a pinball game. Like, yeah, pinball game. We see the two little, what are those things called? Yeah, like the little wands that hit the ball up and down. And right here in the throat chakra, we have the little pinball. And the pinball, okay, like we do everything we can to kind of keep it from falling in here. But this is a lot of like mind energy coming up. So I think rather than allowing something here to sit with something, we keep it stuck in our mind, and we keep it alive by continuously keeping it up in the mind. You know, like we can't let that ball drop. We keep it in the mind and we keep reliving it. And so it is a form of like escape in some way, although it seems like torture to me to relive something or keep a story up, you know, but it is all mind. And as we know, the mind is like, it is useful certainly for using logic, but when we attach a lot of our experience of the past, we have to understand that the mind is going to see it the way that satisfies our ego, that supports the story of the ego, whether it be good or bad. You know, the ego wants to know, hey, like, I experienced this thing. It's like wants you to recognize it. You know, the ego wants recognition. The ego tries to survive. And when we don't recognize the ego, it might seem scary, of course, because I mean the ego wants to keep alive, but we then can, like I said, take the lens of the distortion of the mind and actually take the lens of the glasses off, the yellow lens, and see something for what it is, because now that has passed through a certain channel where it's now sitting with us, you know, in a different place, maybe that it hasn't been able to sit with us in the past. It's past the mind. It's now sitting in with the authentic universal truth, not the absolute egoic truth. So I'm going to pull the tarot here and see if we could see some more, because I know it's not very, I don't know, like exact here. If you guys hear noise, that's my daughter. I think she's vacuuming. So let's pull some tarot. Spirit, for pile number, like, I don't know, there's something you're wanting to communicate. Like, I still didn't see where the communication is coming out, but it's more of energy of how we express ourselves and how we're taking in energy, you know, and seeking some sort of truth of authenticity. But Spirit, clear and concise message. Can we please get some more here for beautiful pile number 2? Clear and concise message, kindly. Can we get some more for pile 2 right here, right now? What is their next 7 days about? What is this energy about that's coming in for pile 2? This throat chakra energy. Thank you so much, Spirit. All right, so we have present moment. What did I tell you guys? Like, what did I say? Present moment. This is not allowing the experiences of the past to distort our now vision of what's in front of us. Because if we're sitting at the table, again, with a very good group of people, and we start to think they're going to go through our bag because of our experience of the past, we're not in that present moment. When we look at, again, we might know, oh, hey, like these people have always been maybe trusting or caring, or if we're in the present moment, it doesn't lead us astray. We see the goodness because we know and we're connected to the present moments, to not allow our past situations kind of distort our thoughts, distort how we react, make us believe some sort of untruth in order to protect us, because the ego's one job is to protect us, right? It causes that duality, them versus me. You know, it's always stemmed from a guilt place. It's like someone is either they're guilty of something or I'm guilty of something. You know, that's how the ego operates. And universal truth is present moment, that no one is guilty. You know, the sky is the sky color. We all have our lens that we're going to see. So we have to be very present. Justice. Okay, Libra energy. Spirit, can we please get some more for pile number 2? We have the Fool. All right. Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 2, Spirit. We have the 9 of Pentacles. Okay. Why is justice here, Spirit? We have the higher self. Beautiful. Look at that. Higher self. And why is this Fool here, Spirit? We have the 3 of Cups. Okay. Bottom of the deck energy, we have the Chariots. Okay, and under that, the Star. Beautiful. Aquarius, Cancer. Okay, so Star is about healing, okay? And we see healing here, coming through heal. So there's a healing moment happening in the next 7 days where I think you are able to heal something that might have had you held back or allowed you to escape into some sort of world that you might have used as an escape here. But I feel like it's kept you from allowing you to move forward or have success in something, you know, because it certainly feels to me like a repetitive sort of childhood or a repetitive wound or trouble here that we've had, that we're needing to heal within ourselves, that we might have not have been very aware of or conscious of. Okay, we're not very conscious of this, that we're wearing a distorted lens, but I feel like a lot of situations kept kind of repeating in the same way with us, in a way that it would justify for ourselves, like, yes, this is the truth because it's happened many times in this same way. But the truth is we're still wearing the same colored lens, right? So of course we're going to kind of justify our own reality. We're going to see our own reality. When we expect to find the same reality, we're going to find the same reality. Like, you know, so I feel like there was a need to really sort of acknowledge this, okay, by being in a present moment, because I feel like this situation is one that you're going to want to find success in. And in order to find success, I think you have to do things differently here. And I feel you do, you know, because you're seeking some sort of truth. And I think you're destined to learn this lesson. Like, look at these spirals here. Okay, so it's giving me Wheel of Fortune, and it's giving me like, yeah, like you're kind of fated to experience this thing here. Because I think there's something here that's coming through as a successful endeavor, you know, of something that maybe could be a wish of yours that you couldn't achieve in the past year because we needed to learn some sort of lesson. Okay, so justice is all about, you know, doing what's fair and what's right for all parties involved here, you know, and having to find that balance. You know, we can't be too much in one energy, but we also have to do kind of the just thing here. So I feel like they're with the Fool. This is all about taking a leap of faith, okay? Like, it's a new beginning, and we don't know. Like, it's a very innocent sort of energy, and trusting the universe. There we see the spiral again. So it's like we trust the universe, and we don't want to experience the same suffering or the same thing that we, you know, experienced in the past. So we don't know if we're going to jump into a repeat or not, but we are trusting that we have to take a leap of faith in order to have success here. The only way to get there is to take this jump, you know, and we can either see it in the same way again because we're looking to see it, or we could take this leap and see it completely different because we now removed the distortion, you know. So I feel like you are in a position here with the Nine of Pentacles. This card always talks about being in a secure sort of self state of mind, you know. In the traditional tarot, it's the lady, and she's in her own garden, and she's very confident. She knows the garden inside and out because she's built that garden inside and out. She knows what to expect. So I feel like you understand yourself, you know, in a way here, inside and out, because it's been your experience. And so the universe is saying, yes, it is your experience here, and there's so much outside of this experience that wants to reveal its magic to you. Okay, so there's a need to connect with higher self, which is the highest version of yourself that knows that there's more to experience in life than what it is that you've seen or experienced up until now, you know, from a mind perspective. Okay, and I feel like by acknowledging this, it allows you to, you know, with the Three of Cups, it's like celebrate, come out, open the heart space, trust again. You know, this is about coming together. This is the celebrations, reconciliation. This is our soul family, having a good time, you know, letting down our guard, being able to celebrate and be recognized. And this, I'm getting the same, like sitting at a table here and leaving a purse there and trusting. So it's like trusting others with our hearts, trusting others with our, you know, they have our back. Like, there's no sort of doubt here. Okay, so I feel like, I don't know, like you get into a situation here where I feel you're allowed to trust again. You have the support of the universe, but also I feel like your support family here, your soul family, comes in supporting you in a way that you can actually finally trust, that allows you the space to make the space for you to take this leap of faith. You know, and I think once you experience this, you see, you can take off that lens, you know, and it's a great feeling here. You don't have to revert to escape. So you could speak an authentic truth. You feel safe. You don't now see a sharp knife where there's just a butter knife, you know. Yeah, like major blockage is that you had are now being released. Seven of Swords. Okay, so this is the energy that you are encompassing. It's like, I cannot trust my situations, you know, I have to kind of keep to myself. I have to experience things but not share them. I'm like, you know, I'm feeling that sort of an energy. And Spirit is saying, is this coming from a past experience? Is our reactions to situations a form of escape here because we're blocked? Or are we in the present moment putting down distortions and understandings, putting down any sort of egoic experiences that have happened in the past, and opening ourselves up to our higher self and to the divine, to seek what the actual universal truth is rather than our own absolute truth. The only way to do that is be in present moment. So I think this is an experience maybe you're going to finally see and be able to experience here, which is quite humbling and quite, yeah, it like changes our life in some way, because then we could put it behind us. We could put behind us, not feeling safe or not being able to trust or feeling fearful of situations in the past that might have left us feeling vulnerable or exposed in some way. So I think you have to take a chance, and you will take a chance in the universe, So this is what I see here for you guys, pile number 2. I hope this resonated for you. You'll have to let me know in the comments if this pans out, and I love you so much. Talk to you soon. Bye. Hello, my beautiful pile 3. You guys pick card 9 with allowance and the 3 charms. And it says the frequency of allowance invites us to be open to whatever comes our way, without judgment, without opinion, without fear, and without resistance. When we allow, the universe becomes our partner in the wondrous dance of existence and expansion. This is so interesting because this is a lot of the same energy I was picking up from pile 2 in a way, although different, but how we have our perceptions kind of get in the way. Our beliefs and our perception of something that is absolute and true, but it is us kind of coming up with that based on our experience, and everyone has experiences that they could form their own opinions and perceptions. And so when we form opinions and perceptions, judgments, we're wearing a lens of life, and that lens of life is not an absolute truth. The only absolute truth is the universal truth, which doesn't come with judgment. It doesn't come with opinion. It is what is. So the analogy I used for pile 2 was when we, have experiences, we start to form a lens, a filtration of how we see the world and how we conceive our opinions. And so we wear the lens, let's say yellow lens of life. So everywhere we look, it's yellow with that yellow tinge. And someone else might experience their own sort of life and conditioning with a red lens. And so we could sit there arguing with someone whether something's yellow or red. We're looking at the sky, and as long as we're wearing the lens and coming from that perspective, we'll continue to see yellow and that other person's wrong, because they're going to continue seeing red. Neither of us are right because we're both wearing distorted lenses. When the universal truth is that the sky is blue, but neither of us are going to see it because we're coming from a mind place, a judgment place, a place from ego, because the ego is where we house all the experiences and the conditioning, and we try to identify with them and make stories, and none of that is true. So it's like without the fears, without the resistance, without the judgments, without the opinions, we're able to see some sort of greater truth. Okay, and when we see this, we can then connect with acceptance, which I feel is this allowance. It's like I'm getting surrender, allowance, acceptance. So with your charms, we have the snake, which is all about healing. Okay, that came through for pile 2 as well, because the snake sheds its skin and it's reborn, okay, in a new energy, but it has to shed the old. Could certainly be shedding of perceptions, shedding of judgments, shedding of old ways. It's also talking about wisdom, so what we've learned, but it could be the wisdom of outgrowing the wisdom of thought. Now we have spiritual wisdom, like the wisdom that is felt rather than understood in the mind. It is now felt. It's kind of what I'm feeling with this snake. And then we have the skull and crossbones, okay, which I was saying was like the toxic sort of symbol when you do the MSDS. Or I guess it's the SDS now, I don't know. But it's like the symbol for toxic, right? Poison, I think. Skull and crossbones is also the death. When we shed the skin, it's the death. So I'm feeling heavy Scorpio energy coming from that. And then we have the fairy sitting on the moon. This looks like Tinkerbell here with the star. Stars about wishes. Moons could be about fears, but I feel the moon is looking at the subconscious, and fairy is like dreamlike here. The fairy could mean all possible things, and things could all be possible if we don't have limitations and restrictions. You know, like if fairies can exist and all these magical creatures can exist at some level of dimension. But when we bring our logical mind to say what can and cannot exist, we now limit whether we see the fairies. And this is why, you know, children can see past our dimension, because their mind isn't conditioned with what is real and what's not. They're very open, you know, they can see from other dimensions and other beings and believe in these sort of things. So I feel like there's something about believe that anything and everything is possible here, including your wish, you know, but there's also a tie-in here to the subconscious with the moon. So what we're looking at here is your next 7 days. Okay, so the week ahead, and because energy isn't exact science here, in a timeline, we are going to say it could be 10 days, it could be 15 days, it could be 5 days, 3 days, whatever this period of time is here, depending where you are in the timeline, is going to unfold right here, right now for you guys. Okay, so this is timeless, meaning whenever you come across the video was meant to find you or the message, but do use your own intuition, what you will see, feel, or hear to determine whether indeed this is going to be your pile. Okay, so if you resonated with some of that, let's just look at then what is the next 7 days coming in for you. Pile number 3. Spirits, for pile number 3, clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile 3. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good. Thank you so much, pile 3, for allowing me to tap into your energy and the energy around you at this time. I'm truly blessed. Thank you so, so much. All right, so what is coming in the next 7 days right here, right now for pile 3? Spirit, can we please get some information right here, right now for pile 3's week ahead? Thank you so, so much. Okay, we have trust. Okay. We have create. We have connect. We have humility. We have sovereignty, and we have celebrate. Okay, and the bottom of the deck we have shadow, and under the shadow we have support. So this card came out for pile 2, and the big theme was about learning trust here. So it could certainly be a tie here. Okay, so allowance. Okay. It's under support. We have patience. So pile 3. I think in the next 7 days here, I feel like there is a need for you to open your mind kind of to any possibility here that isn't fixed on an idea or an understanding that you already have in your mind about something. Okay, because I feel like either you have a fixed understanding of something as it being not good for you, or your fixed understanding of something is what's not good for you. But either way, there shouldn't be a fixed understanding of something, and trusting the universe by opening our mind up, saying we don't know. Okay, with this humility, I don't know, universe. Although I've experienced past things, None of these past things can dictate what I'm about to experience, because the right here, right now, it's what's important. And anything I've experienced in the past was that of the past. So although I might have experienced pain or have learned lessons in the past, you know, where maybe I had to learn the hard way, none of this actually is going to impact what's happening right here, right now, in this week ahead of what I'm being offered. So there's a need to trust the universe, but I feel like there's a need to trust another here, okay, with this connect, where we're allowing ourselves to open up in a way here that's connecting with the present moment in order to create something that's not created yet. Okay, it hasn't been created yet. Interesting, we see the butter knife here, which again came out for pile 2. So something is about to be created, and I think you are about to work with someone, okay? And I say work, it could be at work, it could be a business partner, it could be a romantic partner, to create a relationship or to create something in this world that hasn't been given life yet here. And in order to create this, Spirit wants you to be very present. Are we in shadow? Meaning, are we living from a place in our mind where we experience maybe toxic patterns or toxic things that now is being reflected back to us? Or are we free of this in a way that allows us to act as an independent self here, free of our past experience, in order for us to enjoy and come together here with this soul family, and celebrate whatever we're being offered here as a creation of the universe? Because there's something you're birthing here in the universe. Okay, now it doesn't mean you're going to birth it fully and complete it in the next 7 days, but it's the beginning sort of touch point here of working with the soul family, or accepting, allowing something in here, okay, that allows you to then be receptive to creating, opening yourself up to the universe to create what this is, allowing things rather than resisting things. And so I feel like when we come from a place of dropping judgment, opinions, and experiences and suffering and all of that, we're not saying we, you know, are gullible in an energy here where we don't see where there might be danger, but we're saying we don't allow the dangers of what we've experienced in the past be the lens in which we're seeing this experience. And because if this is the case, we wouldn't be able to create something here, because we'd be too hesitant or fearing, and we wouldn't allow the universe to bless us with this opportunity. Okay, so I do feel like there is something that you're going to be very happy about here with this celebrate. And I do feel like it's an opportunity to create something here, but there has to be like a connecting here. And this would take trusting. So it's going beyond any fear, going beyond any sort of subconscious sort of programming that we might have built over time. And so when we sense the programming coming up, that is the ego, right? The fear comes out, the hesitancy comes out, the judgment comes out. All of this is stemming from ego and experience. It's the programming. We have to know that that isn't coming from our consciousness, like the universal truth of self. We have to understand that it is something that has happened in the ripple of consciousness as a thing that has come and now that has gone. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Like, we experience something and it leaves, and we can store it and house it in our house of experience, and it could condition us and program us for next time. But this is what causes the pain, and this is what causes the judgment. This is what causes us to have these opinions and these preconceived programs. And as long as we're in that sort of matrix programming, we don't allow things to unfold as they are. So I feel like there's a need to not put any limitation, okay, in order to manifest and create the best sort of possible thing here, and not let our fear kind of get in the way of us then maintaining or having this wish here, because with the star, I think you're about to create some sort of beautiful wish come true, you know? So I am going to pull, yeah, support. This is like your soul family, a group of people who, again, it could be a person, a group of people, the right environment with a team of people who you can connect with, you know, that now support your sort of energy here that is unfiltered, because this is the only way you guys are going to create and build something here. Yeah, patience. Okay, so let's pull the tarot and see if we could see some more what this is about here. Spirit, for pile number 3, what is the next 7 days going to bring about here energetically? What are we talking about exactly here for pile 3? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile 3. Thank you so much. Right here, right now. What is this message for pile 3? The Fool. This came out for pile number 2. Lots of similarities here between 3 and 2. We have the life force energy. Beautiful. Look at that. Subtle energy. How everything's connected here. We have oneness. Oh my goodness. If this isn't it, this is so beautiful that this came out. Oh, is this the same? Look at that. Very similar to the back of the card. Oneness. Beautiful. Okay, I'm feeling this one here. We have the 3 of Cups. This came out for pile number 2 as well. That's giving me that network of friends, that group of people, that support system. Okay, the 3 of Cups. It's definitely celebration. So maybe you guys are going to a party here, you know, or just having to be in the presence of a group of trusting people here, having to trust. Okay, 6 of Pentacles. And one more. Absolutely love this deck. It's my favorite deck. We're getting 2. Okay, so we have the embodiment of Wands. This is King of Wands. And we have 4 of Swords. This is healing energy, which was all over pile number 2. Okay. In the bottom of the deck here, we have the Emperor. Look at that. Aries energy. Okay, so Aries, Leo, Sag. So I think, yeah, like the messages here, you know, aren't really talking about the practical things that are happening so much in your world. Like, yes, maybe there is a party or coming together or a celebration, a wedding, you know, but I feel like the message more is one of the situation in which we're having to check our lens at the door, you know, where we understand where we're all oneness, that the universal truth of existence is the same for you, me, everyone, regardless of the lives we've lived. The lives we've lived have created the lens in which we see the world. And so I feel like there's a need for us to be able to connect with others from this place of oneness, rather than from a place of judgment or fear or experience, and seeing them from that lens. And I feel like this gives you a new sort of zest on life here. Like the life force energy is where we're invigorated again, you know, where we're brought to life. We actually see clearly. We can see the beauty now. We can see how things are interconnected and how we have impact on others and how others impact us. It's such a beautiful energy here. It's not a solo energy of doing things separate from others. It's how do we work with others and our environment, and how do we come up with beauty in this world to create beauty, you know, other than just being open to connecting with whatever the universe kind of brings in front of me, be it person, be it situation, circumstances. I feel like there's this revitalization here and you being brought to life here by taking this sort of new approach with this Fool. This is like taking this leap of faith, taking this trust in the universe, and sometimes we take the leap of faith and we could give into the egos and the judgments and the fear that, am I leaping into the same old? Am I going to experience something that I've already kind of learned my lesson here with this snake that might have been toxic or that I fear I'm jumping into? But the Spirit is saying you can jump into this and you could still wear the same lens and see it as this. And if you're expecting to see this, you're going to see it when you take that leap of faith or that jump. You will see this toxic. You will experience the toxic. You will experience the pain again. The thing you're fearing here, you're most likely going to experience it if you jump in with the judgment, if you jump in with the expectation and the opinion and the fears. Okay, but if you jump in knowing that this is still there, but we don't see this anymore, what we see is coming from a place of oneness. That this person, these people also have an experience and a lens that they wear. But I'm willing to engage here, okay, because we're all interconnected, in creating something and understanding where my shadow is scaring me with the fears and the stories. But it doesn't stop me from taking this leap, because this is the only way I can really trust my soul family and come together here. Okay, so I have to contribute with the Six of Pentacles in the best way I can. Put forward my energy, give to a situation. Okay, regardless of the fear or the experience of the past, I have to make myself available, because I know that this is a give and take. That other people who understand this can also give to me. And so now we have this dance between, two separate people in the world, but behind that, there is one sort of life force energy that we're connecting to with others, that's beautiful. And I feel like this builds our confidence. So here you are as this beautiful King of Wands. This is confidence. This is the ability to make something happen here, to create something, to really build on that confidence. We don't fall into the what if I can't, or what if this, because the shadow is going to keep trying to scare us or instill fear that we are not capable, that we're going to invest in the wrong thing, that we might experience something that is a big risk, and so on and so forth. So I think Spirit is showing here, we can heal this, with the Four of Swords. We can heal this by really reflecting on what we've experienced in the past, what we don't want to repeat, what is coming from a place of judgment and coming from shadow. And we acknowledge and say, you know what, shadow, thank you for bringing this to my attention. I know you want to keep me safe. I know you don't want me to experience poisonous situations, suffering. Okay, so the only cause of the shadow by bringing up the fear, bringing up the judgment, is to keep us safe. But shadow, this is a new situation in which I'm being very present in the life force energy, that me and whatever I'm experiencing here is one universal truth that is removed from any experience and shadow and judgment and fear. Because this is the only way to live to my capacity here, so I can build something that's absolutely beautiful, that I can contribute something here that's true. Okay, to create something here that's true and not to be restricted because of fears and limitations. And so now the impossible becomes possible. The dream that we never even thought could be a dream. The fairy exists, the wishes could come true, the dimension that we never thought existed actually exists. Like there's true magic here and beauty, and we could see it now. Like we see the magic, we see the beauty, where maybe before it was very dull. And so someone could say, you're just looking at the forest. But now you're like, no, it's not just the forest. This is where, I don't know, like the fairies live, and you can see it. I mean, not literally, you know, and maybe you see it literally. I don't know. I'm not going to limit what you see, but I think you see it from a complete different lens. Like you see the magic here, where someone else might just see, well, that's a tree, you know, and that's the stream. Or like, I see the magic, I see the possibility, I see beyond that, you know, I see the interconnectedness between the tree, and it's the same energy that moves the waves, you know, that moves the water, is the same energy that allows the trees to grow. And that same energy isn't guided by a controlling sort of person. It is that universal oneness that controls the ocean and the water. It is that universal oneness that allows the trees to sort of grow. And it is that same energy that allows you to be. And so it's up to you whether you cover that up with egos and shadows and fears and judgments, or if you identify it and say, this exists within me, but it is not of me. So you recognize when the fear comes up, anything that makes you feel fearful or lack. If it doesn't feel good, it's safe to assume that it is coming from a place of shadow. Okay, so now we sit, even though it's very vulnerable, but we're sitting in this oneness, open, in the same energy that allows the waves to be. There's no rhyme or reason, you know, there's not sort of a calculation of this wave and by that degree and that time and that wave. Like, there's no planning. You know, Mother Nature here in this life force energy, there is no plan. It unfolds as it unfolds, and it is beautiful. And we can miss it by trying to plan, by trying to control, by trying to make judgment and not allow things to just flow. Or we can be in the present moment and give of ourselves from this place of oneness and allow the universe to bless us back. Okay, with the Six of Pentacles, like to be blessed back by something here. And I feel like this builds your confidence in that trust again of the universe, trust in this sort of energy that isn't so 3D based that people are out to hurt you or situations will cause pain, right? So will we get hurt again? We could, but it's how do we see it? You know, because like I said, this will always be here, the pain, the suffering. And so when we take a leap of faith, we are jumping into pain and suffering, saying, okay, I can jump into this pain and suffering, but I don't have to see the pain and suffering as pain and suffering here unless I'm seeing that. I could choose not to see it. Okay, I hope this is sticking to what I'm saying here, because this might be difficult for some people to wrap their mind around, but I feel like this is the energy of you getting empowered now, taking the energy back, the life energy back in your own hands. Okay, the Emperor, although it would be like a controlling energy and having to control things in a way that the universe can't be controlled, it's also an energy of acceptance. The Emperor allows things to unfold and then reacts in a way that is experienced. You know, he's not an energy here that's compulsive or in a way that fears engaging in situations because of past situations. The Emperor allows what is to unfold and then reacts to it from a place of the most upstanding way, okay? Because he isn't afraid, because he has the ability and the confidence to face whatever the universe has in front of him. So I feel like you're coming into some sort of Emperor energy in a positive way, that you're allowing yourself to react to things from a very conscious, universal oneness place, rather than react to things from an experienced place of shadow. Because there's a lot of healing that's been done, a lot of reflecting. And when we suffer, you know, we have to say we don't want to suffer no more. And that's how we get to this place. It's like, I don't want to suffer no more, because I can continuously be seeing this in everything. And you will experience this in everything if you continue to want to see it in some way. And I'm not saying want as in You know, you're praying that you see this, but I mean, your ego is wanting you to see the danger, so therefore you're going to see the danger. But if you say, I see the danger, but I'm no longer willing to allow this to be the only thing that I see, or dictate what I do, or get in the way of my confidence. I see you, but you're no longer controlling me. Because I know that there's an unlimitless possibility here of some sort of magical, universal energy that is absolutely guiding me this time. Because you're being called to create something here with your soul family. But you have to trust. You have to trust. And that takes a lot, you know. That only comes when we don't want to suffer anymore. Yeah, release the devil. Okay, the devil, Capricorn energy in reverse. So the devil is this. The devil keeps us held back. And we start to believe that there's a limitation. And when we say, you know what? That experience was an experience of the past, but it doesn't limit me in the now. And I'm going to allow whatever is kind of unfolding here. And I can have the power here to control how I react in this moment. That's separate from an experience of the past. I'm no longer at the mercy of the devil. So I feel like you're freeing yourself of toxic ways of being that really screwed with your confidence, that screwed with your ability to contribute to projects, people, situations. It might have been a very lonely place for you to sit. And so now I see here friendship, groups of people, a coming together, a reconciliation, you know, but we have to be like with this humility, like really open to the universe and say, you know what, I don't know anything except for the fact that I can trust the universe. That everything I've experienced in the past is a figment of my own sort of experience and lens. And whatever is true, only the universal truth knows. And so as it unfolds, I roll with it, you know, I flow with it. I have to be like the wave in the ocean. That's the only way to kind of allow yourself to be without resistance so that you're not suffering and pain here. Okay, so this is what I see here. I know, again, this has been a very interesting message. I do feel this is similar to 2. And if you were drawn to that or any other pile, you go check that out. I love you so, so, so much. I'm so glad you guys are here. And I hope to see you guys again. Okay, bye.